I'll tell you, you're in for a real treat today. When Rochelle and I first talked, I was motivated myself, and I couldn't wait for her to do her sessions with us. And she has 3 coming up, so you'll want to watch for those. They're already on the calendar, so watch for those. But it's my pleasure to introduce to you Rochelle Hemingway, and her nickname is Slay Queen, and I'm sure she'll be telling us a little bit more about why Slay Queen. And first of all, Rochelle is a 30-year United States Air Force veteran. So we thank you for your service. We certainly appreciate that, and thank you for that as well. But she's not only a speaker and an author and a mentor, but she offers leadership and transformational consulting services. So I will ask you, Rochelle, to tell us a little bit more about you. And those joining, if you have questions, please put them in the Q&A. And if I pop back on, Rochelle will know that we will be, there's a question to answer. And if not, we can hold them till the end. And if you want to wait till then and hear what she has to say first. So with that being said, again, welcome, Rochelle. It's great to have you on board, and I can't wait to hear your presentation today.
Thank you, Diane, and thank you everyone to taking out of your time out of your busy schedule to be with us today. My name is Rochelle Slay Queen Hemingway, and I am the CEO and founder of Slay to Success. And Slay to Success, like Diane said, is a leadership and transformational consultant service business. And I empower women military leaders who have served over 20 years of military service to create a transformational plan so they can smoothly transition into civilian life. And so, in the next chapter, many of us that have retired want to step in confidently because we want to realize our dreams, goals, and aspirations that may have been held from our service. And so I am delighted to be here to share with you all about some of the tips, the tools, the strategies on how to empower yourself as an entrepreneur. I will be sharing with you all about Slay, so don't worry, we will get to that point. But in the meantime, just sit back, relax. If you have a pen and a notepad or whatnot, and you hear something that really resonates with you, go ahead and jot it down. Please be open to ask questions as we go through this presentation, but we'll get started. So thank you and welcome again. So on October 1st, 2021, I retired after serving 30 years in the United States Air Force. Like many, I joined at the age of 19 and I retired at the age of 49. And a few months after I retired, I wrote my first book about my military career experiences and the word slay. And the book is titled The Slay to Success. And it empowered me to write this book because I wanted to share with everyone about what happened to me at different points in my career. And I wouldn't say happened to me, happened for me, so that way that I can help to inspire others. But I retired in the highest enlisted rank, which is Chief Master Sergeant, and in the highest enlisted position, which is a command chief master sergeant at Ellsworth Air Force Base in South Dakota. So this book really was a catalyst for me to become a leadership and transformational consultant. But working for ourselves, y'all, it can be invigorating, but the reality is that we are our own bosses and we need to put in the work. So, being an entrepreneur, and I know we have different levels of entrepreneurs here with us. We have those that are potentially aspiring to be an entrepreneur, those that are just starting out, and those that have, a long career in entrepreneurship. And it's not for the faint of heart. So, if I wanted to break into this industry, at the age of 50, after serving in a high conforming role for 3 decades, I needed to change my mindset. So, how did I do that? Well, over the past 2 years, that's as long as I've been in business, I've spoken on 45 different platforms. I've organized two women empowerment luncheons, created multiple workshops and programs, and I secured an independent contract with this company called the Small Business Consultant Company, where I'm facilitating conversations and teaching leadership skills to Air Force first time supervisors. Now, I'm not sharing any of this to brag, y'all. I'm sharing this in hopes to inspire you all because it is a journey and understanding that entrepreneurship is a process. And it, just like my military career of 30 years, it's going to take time, effort, and energy. So, with this mindset that I started to cultivate over the past few years or couple of years, I started yielding new results. And today, I want to share with you a few strategies to empower you and get you slaying, okay, because it's a word, to your desired success as a business owner. All right, so today we were going to be speaking to these three specific areas here because all of us want to feel empowered to show up for our businesses and for our customers. And I know we all want to offer the best experience for future opportunities to make a difference in this world. This is why we go into entrepreneurship. So I want to share with you these tools. We're going to first discuss what entrepreneurial mindset is, the interpersonal skills that we need to master, and how can we apply the SLAY strategy as we're working our business. So we're ready to get started, everyone? I know we are. I know I am. So the first empowerment tool that we are going to cultivate is an entrepreneurial mindset. So, although cultivating an entrepreneurial mindset is achievable for anyone, it demands immense bravery to execute our action plans effectively, particularly when we're starting from the ground up. So, our goal as an entrepreneur is to inspire and have passion for what we see as opportunities where others may see as problems. We need to become more innovative and better at solving problems. We have to be able to take risk, which can lead to greater rewards. We got to think outside the box and come up with creative solutions, deal with the change and uncertainty. As we all know, that's the world that we live in nowadays. Be disciplined and resilient, be self-motivated, and have a stronger work ethic and to achieve our goals and reach our full potential. So here is the first empowerment tool is to gain insight as to how an entrepreneur thinks. So the next entrepreneurial tool that we're going to use in our arsenal are mastering interpersonal skills. Here are three specific areas that I know are very challenging for anyone, but more so for an entrepreneur because we have to stay focused, right? We have to have self-respect for ourselves and for others and empathize with ourselves and others. But these three particular skills, they can gain a lot of traction and it worked for me immensely over the past couple of years. So let's talk about focus a little bit. All right. So this is a did you know? Because I did know this before I started doing some research on focus. It takes 23 minutes, according to a survey, y'all. Okay. It takes 23 minutes and 15 seconds to fully recover after a distraction. How many times during a day are you distracted? For me, I'll speak to my situation. I have a 13-year-old son, and he wants my attention a lot of times about a lot of things, but I can get interrupted at least 3 to 4 times a day. And that is the average span of how many times that it takes, right? But working on a project, you're working on a task or whatnot, and then someone or something distracts you. And that could be our phone, it could be an email, it could be our family. So we need to master the skill of staying focused. And so how can we do that? Well, here's some strategy, excuse me, we go back to this. So here's some strategies that I want to give to you. Do one task at a time. Limit your social media. Be present in the moment as much as you can. Take short breaks. I know I take, 15-minute break if I'm going to be in my office where I'm at right now for more than an hour. We got to reduce distractions. Maybe just find one distraction that's really, really bothering you or interrupts you and try to eliminate that from your workspace. Try some mindfulness. I know for me, I do some walks. If I after 15 minutes, like I'm still needing a little bit of a break to get back to what I was doing, I take a walk in the neighborhood. And I also set a timer. So setting a timer to, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, work on something really, stay focused on it, take a break, go back to it, work for another 30 minutes is certainly a strategy that we can use. All right. So the next interpersonal skill that I would like to talk about is the self-respect skills. Now, we have to believe in ourselves as entrepreneurs because a lot of times people will not believe in what we're doing. They have no idea about our vision. They don't know what, we're looking ahead to do. They don't quite understand why we don't do a 9 to 5 job. And so we have to really believe in ourselves and we have to believe in what we do. And we have to do these because when we do, it results in an honorable and courteous behavior. And so these self-respect skills, they impact how we spend our time and our money, impacts how we build our habits, impacts how we manage our time. It impacts how we dress and groom and show up for, whatever we're to do in our business. And it impacts to how we speak. So some strategies that have worked well for me, and I'm sure for many of us that are sitting in here, is self-care, being around positive people, being around like-minded people who are entrepreneurs in the same area that you're in, loving your whole self, knowing your worth and your value, and defining your own values and setting healthy boundaries. This is all in the realms of self respect skills. Then lastly, we had to have empathy for ourselves and empathy for others. Empathy is about appreciating the feelings, thoughts, and experiences of others, and appreciation the needs and desires of our communities that we're living in. Sometimes we have a service or product that we are very proud of. We're like, this is something absolutely amazing, but then no one really needs it, right? Because we haven't really done our target research. We haven't like gone to see what in our communities of the needs. And so we have to start to have that ability to really figure out where are people at and how can we meet their needs. And this is all in the realm of empathy. So some of the empathy strategies that I know that can work well for us is we have to first give ourselves grace. We are going to fail and fail and fail and fail. I know many a days I'm like, that's not working. I look at my numbers and I'm like, that's no one's looking at that, or no one's buying that, or no one's, talking about that. So, we have to constantly go back to the drawing board, but then we figure out, oh, well, here are some things that are working. And so giving ourselves grace in that moment, not beating ourselves up. Another strategy we can use is to remember people's names as we're going out and we're networking and we're building our communities, giving people full attention, listening to what's been said, but we also can share We have to focus on our similarities and as well as examine our biases. Just because your business doesn't look like someone else's business, because we all are unique in our own different way, doesn't mean that we start comparing ourselves to one another. And so we just really need to figure out how to empathize not only with ourselves, but with others because they are crucial to success. And the last empowerment tool is the word slay. So here we are with slay, y'all. All right. So a few years before I retired, I discovered this word from an incident that occurred. One of my medical technicians, I was a medical technician when I was in the military for a very long time before I started going into some senior military roles. And I became the superintendent of this clinic. Well, I had, I think about 100 or so technicians that I was providing oversight. One of my airmen lost his battle with depression. And so his favorite word was slay. So, in an effort to heal the organization, heal myself, and to inspire and motivate others, we started to use his word. So, I took his word, and as a senior leader, I would put on emails, I would say it in speeches as I was talking to the larger groups and so forth. And I didn't realize the impact that it was having on people. And then I realized, oh my goodness. So the word slay means to kill it, to dominate it, and to nail it, to be on point, to impress greatly, to dream and work hard until you own it. And I realized I was doing some things right in my military service. So I took this word and I then created it into an acronym. So the acronym is as follow on the bottom: stay ready to be ready, lead out loud, a sense of family, you are built to last. And this word in itself has not only created the business that I have right now, but has also empowered me to continue on as an entrepreneur and share with others. So the first is stay ready, be ready, right? So we have to be prepared. And we know as entrepreneurs, we are going to be going to different venues. So success occurs when opportunity meets preparation. Zig Ziglar said it best. And so when we are looking at being prepared, it's better to be prepared for an opportunity than to have an opportunity present itself and not be prepared. So, as an entrepreneur, we know those foundational things need to be done. We know we need to have our websites, we need to have our tax ID numbers, UEI numbers, SAM numbers if you're doing government contracting, getting our business cards together, having our purpose statement of what we do and how we serve and the results and the impact that we're making, our products and services. There is so much preparation that goes into being an entrepreneur. And when things change, because they will, all right, we have to then be prepared for those changes. And so this is the everyday occurrence for us as an entrepreneur is to stay ready, stay ready to be ready. Next is lead out loud. Okay. No one is in our offices or in our business spaces, if you will, like tapping us on the shoulder, unless you've got a team of people. I'm a team of one right now. And the leadership aspect is all on us. We're wearing all the hats, right? We're wearing the admin hat, we're wearing the CEO hat, we're wearing the marketing hat. As we're starting out, maybe some of us have a person or two, but we are making all the decisions. And as a leader, you have to show up and do that. And one of the traits that I know that has served me well is the trait of confidence, right? It's that willingness to show up as a leader, right? And the willingness to try over and over and over again. And a leader, and I've studied leadership for so many years, leadership is hard and it's about accountability and responsibility. And so those aspects into what we do, it's really about showing up and doing the work and being a leader about what you do. So having that confidence, that major confidence. because we have to take bold risk, y'all. And we know that we're taking risk. Some of us are taking money risk. Some of us are taking time risk. Some of us are taking energy risk. So we have to keep our motivation high. We have to be thinking positive, have an affirmation or two that you are saying to yourself. I know before an event, I put my hands on my hips, I look in the mirror, and I say, I am stronger every day in every way. And then I go off and I do what I got to do, right? Because I have to be my biggest cheerleader, but that pumps me up so I can take the risk that I need to take to move my business forward. We have to have self-confidence, as we spoke to, that critical thinking to decision making, being informed of the information that we have. And we have to go and seek discomfort. I know a lot of us were like, oh, I don't want to go here. I don't want to go to the network. I don't like people. But if you're in a people business, and usually our entrepreneur journeys are customer service, we have to go to places where we may not want to go to. And we have to expand ourselves, expand our minds, expand our way of thinking. And so for me, taking bold risks is all about taking action. All right. We can ponder on something for a long time, but then if we don't take the action necessary, it just won't get done. So those are some tips of as far as leading out loud, as confidence and bold risk. The next is a sense of community, a sense of family. I split it up. I usually say community or family, depending on the audience that I'm speaking to. So today it'll be community. So we all want to be a part of community. We all like community, especially since the pandemic has occurred. And so here is, some tips about connecting. Networking was not really a thing for me in the military. They just gave us a lot of people on a team and said, "Hey, build your team," right? Well, when I started networking, I was like, "Oh, this is new. I don't know exactly what I'm doing." And I realized that I had to find the events or find the workshops or seminars that are in my industry and find those people. So finding your tribe of people and collaborating and connecting to them, prepare your pitch. And so if you have a purpose statement, then you can share that with them, who you help, how you serve, and what are the results. You lead with confidence and, of course, curiosity, carrying around your business cards and follow up. So, if you have business cards, I do, I have a lot. I put in my purse. I even carry around a couple of books because those are kind of like my business card. And then I'll go to my event or to my meeting or whatnot, and I follow up, all right, with those individuals. And we have to then dedicate our time to maintaining these relationships because relationships is the key. It is the social currency of an entrepreneur. So hopefully these tips will help you as you're building your community. And last but not least, the why is for you are built to last. This is all about mindset. Um, Sometimes we hear of businesses not surviving after the first year, the second year. And a lot of it, I think, is because people stop, all right, because they doubt themselves, and self-doubt will just make us quit, y'all. It will just make us quit on all the things that we are trying to do. But having the sense of the reasons why you built your business in the first place and sticking to that. So we have to have solid whys. I have many because if one doesn't work, or one doesn't, I don't feel it, then I go to the next one. We have to have intentional action. So you have a market planner, or I have my planner here where I just write all of the things that I'm going to get done for the day. And then I make sure that I'm doing it. And then making sure that I am following up on the things. Maybe I didn't get something done because some emergency happened, but I get back to it and get it done, and then having a clear direction as to why you're doing what you're doing and where you're trying to go. This is all about having that sense of purpose as an entrepreneur. So, as I am in the throes of entrepreneurship, one of the tips of advice that I'm going to also give you is to go where people love you. Right. So I was in the military for 3 decades. And so I still have a strong military ties. So I am asked to go and speak at so many different functions across the DMV. This is at a Air Force Sergeants Association general meeting at Fort Meade. And they said, "Hey, we just want you to come here." And I'm only like 20 minutes from Fort Meade. I'm like, "Yes, I will be there." And it's an absolute pleasure to continue to provide service to the community that I was in for a very long time. I also built a community. All right. So sometimes we don't see the community that we would like to have or we would like to be a part of. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to start building one. So this is, an event that we had. We've got I don't know. It's growing in numbers every time I have an event of women who just want to get together and talk about confidence, talk about how to improve their leadership skills, their mindset, and their wellness. So sometimes we just have to just break out of the status quo of what's going on and do something different. And then the mentorship. So I empower senior military women leaders. I spend a lot of my time talking to women leaders who want to transition. And this is my latest client, and she is getting ready to retire here in the next 8 months or so. And so it's an absolute pleasure when we use our talents, our skills, and abilities that we already have and be able to create a business around that, because not only are you impacting the lives of others, you're also creating a legacy. So I hope that this was helpful for all of you that are here. We went over the empowerment tools of entrepreneurial mindset, the interpersonal skills of focus, self-respect, and empathy. I went over the SLAY strategy, stay ready, be ready, lead out loud, a sense of community, and you are built to last. So this is the end of the presentation. I do have my slide here for my contact information. If you are wanting to contact me, please feel free to do so. You can use the QR code for the services. There's also a free resource, and I know that Diane's going to send out a free resource link to you as well. So that way you can look at how you can rediscover your confidence and improve your confidence level as an entrepreneur.